We all get consumed by something. Music, film, a good book, perhaps even that new healthy lifestyle. On Consumed, we talk to people about what's consuming them. So, let's get consumed. Hello, and welcome to Consumed. This week, we're going to be consuming Jo Maycock. Hello, Jo. How do we know each other?
Hi, Alex. How do we know each other? Well, you should know that, mate. That's awful. It's awful to start that way.
I know.
No, I know.
tell me.
Well, I'm deferring it. That's the issue, isn't it? No, it was the uni years that we met, because I thought it was before that, and then I realised I only know you because of Jimmy Pickles. So it could not have been prior to university. It just feels a long time. So we lived together. In a good way, in a positive way. But we lived together for a time in the uni years, and then we've just been coasting alongside each other for a while and enjoying it.
Yeah. I moved up and moved into your house, your flat.
You
It
did.
was above an estate agent's, a 6-bedroom flat above an estate agent's.
And a great, close to a kebab shop.
Yes, Khan's 2-for-1 pizzas.
Yeah.
I used to eat a lot of those. So yeah, what did you have for dinner?
Yeah, so tonight we had emergency pizza.
Oh, lovely.
We had emergency pizza, and I felt really bad for my kids because we rolled out the cross-to-molicas that we topped ourselves, put our toppings on, and then I just fished around in the freezer and pulled them out a pizza that was like 50p this size from Lidl. And Rowan put it in her mouth and said, "Mummy, don't like this. Have that one. Have that one." And I was like, just slicing off little bits for her. It was pretty cruel, to be honest.
Well, I quite like the fact that she's into it already, just being like, no, I'm not eating this crap.
She was like, "What is this? This 50p? It's got to be at least £1.50, otherwise I'm not consuming." You should get her on this.
It's true. Just cheese and tomato? What did you have in your pizza? What did you put on it?
Well, theirs was just cheese and tomato with no additions.
Like those ones that are like cardboard?
I mean, I don't even think it was as good as cardboard, to be honest. Maybe thicker, harder, more rock-like texture. Just don't purchase. But, it was in the freezer and it was emergency.
It needs eating.
Ours had a bit of, we're going to sound like wankers now, but Cavolo Nero on there and olives and mozzarella. So we made the topping ourselves. We got the bases and we just topped them ourselves.
Yeah. So just like nude bases that you top yourself?
Nude bases with the tomato variety. Nude
so it comes
bottom.
with the tomato on it?
Yeah.
And cheese?
It's so good. No cheese. So you just get the bases. It's way cheaper than getting the actual pizza, like the cheapskate that I am.
Yeah.
And then you top it with what you want to put on it.
But it comes with a tomato sauce on it?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So it's easy. So when I say emergency, it's like what is really quick.
Yes.
And it's just whack on those toppings. And Jack sometimes puts fennel on top of his. I'm like, what is that?
That is quite Italian.
That? Oh, and it's just not good. I like fennel, but not on a pizza.
So what brand are these? Where do you get these? What is it?
I think they're at most supermarkets. You've not heard of cross-to-molica?
Cross-to-molica? You did say that, and I was like, what did you say?
I could be absolutely tearing the pronunciation to shreds there, but
that's fun.
They're a dream. Now you can get 2 in a pack, and you can put them in the freezer. Yeah.
I'm going to have to Google this.
Yeah. I can't believe Amy doesn't know this.
Google things on podcasts, but I'm going to do it. How do you spell it?
Look, Alex, spelling is not a strong point of mine. I've already told you that I might not be factually correct with anything, and spelling is one of those things.
Crusty Melica.
Crosta. E-R-O-S-T-A,
Oh,
maybe?
I've got it. Oh, yeah, I've seen that in the freezer. Oh, okay. Yeah. I've seen those in the fridges. Oh, it says Waitrose here. But you do get, so they do Crosta Molica, yeah. So they do all sorts of flavours, but they also just do a base. Just £2.85.
This feels like I am being fact-checked, so thanks for that, Alex.
No, I was curious.
Maybe a theme throughout.
Yeah, sure. I was just curious because I'd never heard of it. And it sounds like because I try not to eat gluten, we often buy the gluten-free pizza bases and then then top it because they're quite good. But they're okay. I can't remember what brand it is, but they're quite good. And then, but the kids like getting involved in that because it's like they're actually making the food, but they're just topping a pizza.
I
But
think these ones do that though. They're kind of a bit of a fancy make. I'm pretty sure I've seen a
well, I mean,
gluten-free one.
when I've googled it here, and it looks like you can only get it in. I know you can get it in Sainsbury's. Yeah, Waitrose, Sainsbury's only. You can get it in Tesco. Okay,
Do you know what? And we were just talking about how I hadn't given you a 40th birthday present. I'll seek one out for you and maybe I'll pop that in the post.
Thanks, mate. That'd be great. Cheers. I mean, I could probably seek one out when we do our next online shop,
Oh,
so
all
I'm
right.
sure
Just
that'll
do
be
it that
fun.
way then. Fine. I was
Yeah.
just trying to think of an easy go-to present. Right.
Um, cool. Anyway, what have you been consuming other than pizza bases?
Well, there's lots of those that are consumed. Yeah, I'm actually going through a period of my life where I have actually watched some good programs. So that's good for the listeners out there. And maybe if you haven't watched them, you might find a little tad bit here because it's not just, things like Married at First Sight, which I no longer watch, and
Oh,
that thing with your Love is Blind.
yeah.
I've moved on to a different phase in my life.
I can only watch one series of Love Is Blind, and then I'm like, this is just too ridiculous. It's just too much.
I just can't believe any of it anymore. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I just can't do it.
So
Anyway.
for anyone who hasn't watched Love Is Blind, can you explain the premise of the
Oh my
show?
God. I've only watched one season. I'll do a short synopsis, whatever. People go on this program to find love, to find that person that they really want to be with, because it's hard to do that, isn't it? But these guys think they can probably do it without meeting them in person, without seeing them. So they go onto the show and they then have to date people from a room where they can't see the person who's in a room opposite them. And they date, but without seeing each other. And then it's about falling in love. How many of these people are still together? I have no idea.
I think you've missed out a
God, Alex,
crucial point there is that they actually get married.
sorry. Yeah, they get married at the end. Do they get married when
Yeah. What so
literally
they
at the point of seeing each other, then they get married? Oh,
no
God, I'd
no no
just turn around.
I can't. I mean, I think I watched it in lockdown, so it was a few years ago. But they had to propose to them without ever seeing them. So like they were getting down on one knee, even though they were in separate rooms, which I always thought was quite funny. And then yeah, they then kind of planned the wedding and got married once they had seen each other. And I don't know. I mean, it was totally bonkers.
I mean, that is bonkers. And the fact I'd missed that very important bit is shows how much
Not just like
I
blind date.
consumed it and loved it. Yes. Yeah. It was
Well,
a bit more serious, wasn't it? It
I
was a
mean,
bit more of a
blind date
commitment.
is they just go on a holiday, so you could just go on, be funny, go on a free holiday. Anyway, that's enough time spent on Love Is Blind.
Yeah.
What?
Because I'm not consuming it. Okay, what have I been watching? So there's always that thing, isn't there, in the house of like, how do we watch things that we both like, me and my partner Jack? We don't cross over on many things, but recently we've actually crossed over on some things. So we've been
Cool.
watching a program and we've watched all of it. And it's called The Lowdown. I don't know if
Mm,
you've heard of it.
I haven't.
Oh my God, it's so good. So Ethan Hawke is just fantastic as like the leading guy in this show. It's on Disney because you're going to ask me what
Mhm.
I've consumed it on. But it's not a really long series, but it's a bit like True Detective, but a bit lighter than that maybe. So it's kind of like a murder mystery, bit of like black comedy with a fantastic soundtrack that is just everything that you just want to listen to over and over. It's just wonderful. So I highly recommend it.
Is it like a murder mystery kind of vibe?
So essentially, this doesn't spoil it at all. Like the first
Mhm.
episode, it's Ethan Hawke he calls himself a truth historian. So he's like writing exposés. He's a bit rough around the edges. And he is just really wanting to sort of like make things right by telling the truth. And he's sort of written a recent expose about a wealthy family in the area. And then that is followed very quickly by a strange suicide that doesn't seem to add up. And so he goes to find out more and kind of just gets embroiled in things so deep and so quite dark. But then there's this like funny side of it as well. Yeah.
Is
Sort
it
of.
set in present day?
Yeah. Because it's kind of like Tulsa and it's all a bit like
Mm.
backwards. I'm like, is it a little bit further in the past? But no, it feels quite present day.
Yeah, I only
Yeah.
know Tulsa from that's where Chandler had to go work in
Yeah,
Friends. Once he
Tulsa
started
and
smoking
Yemen.
again. Yes. Yeah. That
Yeah.
sounds good. I mean, that's nice that you have found something that you and Jack cross over to watch.
Yeah, I think it's more the kind of detective crime
Yeah.
side of things that we cross over on,
I
but that is
found
so good.
since I started speaking to people that it's so funny how many couples, like, watching habits are just not aligned.
Yeah, well, I've found that is definitely the case, but I think sometimes, I don't know, when you're watching TV, you're watching it for different things. Like, I do love watching something great and engaging, but also I kind of watch it to switch off, whereas Jack will YouTube to switch off. Now,
Yeah.
I didn't understand that
Yeah.
until this podcast began, and
What, my
I
podcast?
realized your podcast, and I realized
Yeah.
so I just thought, like, YouTube I've never watched YouTube as a medium
Right.
for, like, catching up on things or the way that people have talked about it on here, and now
Mm.
I'm like, there's this, like, coaster porn, there's, like, this voyeuristic gaming, watching gaming, there's, like, all these kind of things that I just had no idea. I just haven't been interested in it. But
Yeah.
Jack's there on his phone, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Nothing for nosies," and I'm like, "I mean, what is that? What is that?" But now I know he's like
Yeah.
watching gaming game because he loves gaming and things like that. And like you say, we don't have time to play it. So
Yeah.
watch somebody else do it.
Yeah.
Or he'll be watching somebody talking about crosswords. Or I'm putting words
Yeah.
in his mouth here, but
Yeah.
that's his kind of downtime, chill out, do things like that. Whereas I wouldn't do that. So I'd
It
just put on the TV. So I would want to find either an easy film if I'm in that mood or an easy series. But
Mhm.
then when I want to watch something a bit more engaging, I'm like, what's that good thing that we're looking for together? And we can watch those things together. But yeah, YouTube, the only thing I really know on YouTube is this stupid video that we always send to each other when we're not feeling very well by Philippa Rice that says, "I'm not feeling very well, look after me." And it's these stupid little knitted puppets. I mean, watch it, it's great,
I
but
mean,
it's ridiculous.
that's hilarious. That's just what you thought it was about.
That's what,
I feel like I was late to the game, but we're watching
yeah.
YouTube. I sound like an old person here, but it was only because Victor and his wife Jo had a channel about them renovating the canal boat that I just started watching that, and I just realized that there was a lot more on there than it's basically just people creating TV by themselves rather than a big studio doing it. And, it can be as interesting as Joe and Vic's channel, or it can be as just as, it's pretty, it's pretty niche. Like all of it is niche because you don't have to appeal to the mainstream like TV does. So you can really go down like some crazy rabbit holes. But I mean, it's, when I'm on my own, I watch it, now that the sun's come out, I've got really into golf again. I just end up watching a lot of golf on there.
Well, I totally get it, and I get it now.
Yeah.
Don't use it, like I say, but I now get it, and I'm like, right, and people do talk about going down these rabbit holes and whatever on any
Yeah.
form of
Well,
socials and
it's
things,
weird
but
as well because I started following like this content creator about who creates content on like city builders that I watch. I find that interesting because this guy is a city was a city planner, but he now makes more money creating cities on a video game.
it's
But
stuff like that, that's so crazy
But
and
then
amazing.
but then he does it in a way where he's just like, "Well, I'm gonna do this because I was a city planner," if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
And I started following him back in, like, 2020 because I needed a tutorial of how to play the game when I had time to play it. And so he had, like, I don't know, like, 50,000 subscribers or something. He's now got, like, nearly 1,000,000. It's like
Mean.
mental, but his videos are entertaining. So, like, I can watch them for 5 minutes and put them down and, go do something else or on my lunch break or whatever. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, it is a whole crazy world, and people can make a living out of it, so fair play.
Definitely fair play, but I think that is where it's, I think we do like a lot of the same things, but we just have a different downtime or things that will just keep us busy when we're not in front of the TV. A thing that we have really crossed over on, though I know this isn't what this is about, but
Well, it doesn't matter.
it's brought wonderful things into my life. Not Jack, like the other stuff he's brought. I don't know if he'll listen, so it's fine.
I'm sure he will.
He will, he will. So when I first met Jack, he was like really into radio comedy. So this was, quite a while ago before we were on all these channels and things. No, he didn't predate that, but, he would listen to radio comedy, like, in the evenings or before bed and things like that, and he introduced me to some that I just hadn't listened to, and now one of my heart places that I always go to is, some radio comedy, called Party. Now, I've talked about it a lot to anybody that will listen, but I don't know if anybody listens to it. But it's about, like, young idealists, including Tim Key and Tom Basden, setting up a political party, sort of as they're, like, going to uni and forming these, like, naive friendships and making judgments on, like, forming their own views on political policies, and it's just so funny and stupid and happy, and I just put that on anytime I wanna just listen to something that just makes me laugh out loud all the time, even though I have listened to it about 50 million times.
I remember Jack telling me about that actually. It does sound really funny.
It's so great. Like, if you haven't listened, everybody should listen. You can still get it on BBC iPlayer, I think. I think it originally came out in 2010,
Well,
so we are going back,
crazy.
but it stands up. Well, because I love it, it stands up, but
Yeah.
I think it's just so funny. If you like that kind of sort of slapstick, but yeah, like mundane life with ridiculous, just visual, well, it's not visual comedy, but just like narrative stories coming through from these stupid characters. But you
Mm.
love them. You love them like you do in Friends, I guess, you know?
Yeah, well, and once you get to know the characters, like, everything
Yeah,
they do becomes funnier, and the gags, are just even funnier, even though they might not be. They're just it's the same as before. Tim Key and
absolutely.
Tom Basden famously in The Ballad of Wallace Island, a favourite of this podcast.
I mean, I'm not able to talk about that because people have already talked about that, but it was absolutely fantastic.
You can talk about it as much as you like.
Well, just I am waiting for the day that Tim Key and I are best friends. So,
I'm sure we can try and make that happen.
well, I tried. I did go to his gig in Manchester the other weekend, and oh my God, it was like the best. And I was
Right.
sat there at the beginning just fangirling. I don't want
And
to
were
ruin it.
there other people there? Was it just you?
There were other people there, but I just wanted to make that connection. I just wanted him to know that I'm not too into you, but we could be friends.
I'm
And he's
sure that I
probably the
reckon
funniest
there's
person I know.
I reckon we could get hold of him quite easily, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Try and see how it goes.
yeah. I mean, I've got to play it cool and everything, but I just think we'd get on. And the Ballad of Wallace Island was just him at his best.
Yeah, it was
And
brilliant.
yeah, but
Absolutely
his
brilliant.
his stand-up is fantastic. It really holds up, and it's, like, really theatrical. It's not just stand-up, there's more to it. I did not stop laughing. I got so much cheek hurty the other week in Manchester when I went to see him. Was the happiest I have been for ages because he just is so funny.
Where was it in Manchester?
It was at home, so I'd
Oh, yeah.
actually not been to a gig there before, but it's such a
Yeah,
great
that's
venue.
where the Corner House Cinema?
Yeah, well, that's not there anymore,
No,
is
but
it?
that's not is that where it is?
It's
That is
quite
where
close to there.
yeah, not
It's
Oxford
not
Road.
exactly there. It's a bit more it's closer to kind of the Bridgewater Hall.
Oh, yes, it's down near Deansgate, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
a bit closer
So,
to Deansgate and
yeah.
yeah.
I
Not
walked
far from
past the
the comedy store.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
far. It was such a great venue though. And it felt, like Tim Key was really not that far away, so that was enjoyable.
Do you go to Manchester often?
Where we live, we thought we were moving closest to Leeds, but it turns out we are kind of closer to Manchester.
Mm,
So we've found that, yeah, going to Manchester kind of works better, sort of for getting back for kids and babysitters and all that kind of stuff.
right, better
Um,
connected.
yeah, it's just the train line is better connected. But yeah, recently I have been quite often because we went to see Tim Key and then also the weekend, Jack and I had a day without the kids in the
Whoa.
daytime. Whoa, big news.
Would you just
Big
leave them at home or
news.
something?
Yeah, I left them at home. They look after
Gave them a pizza
themselves.
from the freezer, they were
Yeah.
fine.
I mean, well, Rowan was throwing it around, breaking windows with it because you
Yeah.
can. No, we left them with my mother. She is a trooper and she looked after two. And we said, oh, it won't take us long. But actually, we were gone all day because we went to the Whitworths to go to an exhibition, the Hokusai. Again, I'm probably absolutely butchering that pronunciation of the
No, I think that's
Japanese
correct.
artist. Yeah, at the Whitworth Gallery. And it was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was, again, so that has been consumed.
Yeah.
it was wonderful to go with Jack and just spend at least an hour and a half in the art gallery, not even talking to each other,
Yeah,
just
perfect.
walking around and reading things at our own speed and absorbing and not having children pulling on us. And it
Mm.
was great. But I don't remember the Whitworth Gallery being like that when we were at Manchester.
I never went in. It's on Oxford Road, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
literally
Near
past Big
university.
Hands.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah, I
where
was gonna
Big Hands
say.
is? And then just, I
Yeah.
was like, what is
Big Hand's still
this?
there?
Big Hands is still there, but
Wow, cool bar.
they're serving pizzas
Ooh,
and they're not serving that. They used to do those big baguettes with like, oh my God, I loved Big
don't
Hands.
remember that. Big Hands,
Oh,
yeah.
Alex.
So this is some niche Manchester chat if people
Yeah,
don't know.
soz, yeah. Well, the Whitworth isn't, but
That's true. But
yeah.
yeah, I remember I would go past it on the bus because we used to live, like the student area and I used to work in town. So I'd get the bus past it every day. But Big Hands was a cool little, I mean, it wasn't quite a live music bar because it didn't play live music, but it was right next to right next to the academy.
No
So
space for
like,
it.
yeah, it was right next to the academy. So when gigs were finished, or before and after gigs, it would be full of fans, but also you would often see the artists in there afterwards as well. And the
Yeah.
walls were adorned with people's AAA passes. So I remember we met Beirut, the band Beirut, in there. Were you there?
I don't know if
And
I
it might
was
have
there
been
for that.
Dan and Leone.
I met the band Stars in there, one of my favourites, a Canadian band, when my brother came to visit, and oh God, that was so good. But yeah,
Yeah.
so I'd gone to see them and then met them in there. Yeah, so the stories are true. You can meet artists in the band, so you probably
You
did
can.
meet Beirut there.
I'm pleased that it's still there because I mean, it's 20 years ago, really, since nearly 20 years ago when we were living there. I mean, you were.
Well,
I
I could
wasn't, but
not
you were.
believe walking past the uni. I've not really walked past the uni apart from in this last month, and I was like, "What? Crowbar's still there, and Big Hands is still there. Why is Crowbar still there? I
Crowbar.
have no idea."
Oh, yeah. That's like across the road, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Nice. How does Manchester feel walking around it now, like 20 years later?
I said, um, I said on Sunday, like, um, I don't remember Manchester ever being this clean. So I feel like maybe it's got a bit clean in the Manchester uni strip. I wouldn't
Yeah.
say in the centre. There is lots of new development there as well. It does feel different though. It doesn't feel, well, we're 40. I was like, oh, Jesus. It does feel like a whole life ago walking
Yeah, it
down these
does.
streets. But it also feels a bit like home
Mm.
because you're like, "Oh, I was here for so long. I kind of know it, but I don't." So it's nice to like find a new relationship with it now. One that isn't, quite as steeped in booze and debauchery and whatever.
Yeah, there was a lot of
Oh, and
drinking. Oh,
study.
study.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
not for me.
Well, mine was 4 contact hours a week. I mean, what's that? Yeah. Medieval history. That's the one to go with.
Medieval history. Yeah.
That's the one to go with.
Excellent. So I've got a link with Tom Basden here.
Oh, go.
The conversation's gone
Yeah.
so far past Tom Basden, but he was in the TV show that me and Amy finished watching on the weekend.
And that was?
There was only a small part. It was How to Get to Heaven from Belfast.
I absolutely love this. So this Jack and I are not at the end of it, so no spoilers.
Okay.
It's such a good show.
Yeah, it is a good show.
It's black comedy, but murder mystery again, like
Yeah.
at its best. Like it is fantastic. It's
Yeah.
gripping.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's totally ridiculous, but I think that's what I love about it. It's like it's if it were tried to be like, I don't know, I guess the word's naturalistic, isn't it? It just wouldn't work. Like everything is over the top, and that's what makes it more exciting and more funny. It's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was great.
It has to be sort of absurd, and then
Yeah.
it's got like these moments of like Kill Bill-esque sort of snippets of nothing, to that quite level, but
Yeah.
that absurd like baddie stuff, like James Bond undertones, and like
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. But don't put that off to anybody that hasn't watched it because it's really gripping viewing, and I like all the twists and turns and. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I mean, I think if anyone's thinking about watching it, it's about 4 women really, who go back to their hometown because one of them's died, and then they kind of get like caught up in the mystery of it, basically. But they actually are just like also supposed to be living their normal lives at the same time, but they kind of like go on this like side quest to try and work out what's going on. They kind of leave their lives behind, and it's quite amusing that they do that. They reference that, as they're doing it. They're
Yeah.
supposed to be like, one of the husbands keeps ringing up, just being like, "Where are you? What are you doing? Why aren't you here looking after the kids?" And so, yeah, it's really entertaining and really funny. How many episodes have you got left?
I think we've got 2 left.
Ah,
How? I don't yeah, I think we've got about 2 left. We've done a good stint, but yeah, we are yet to find the conclusion.
and yeah. Well, I mean, it doesn't. The last few episodes don't disappoint, so that's not a
Yeah.
spoiler. I like
I
you would
hope
you
it
wouldn't be as mad.
continues to be as ridiculous, and I kinda hope that the conclusion is as ridiculous, so they might drag it out to
Yeah.
more series. Please don't. I just like one series things, but,
The way it ends feels like they were setting it up for a second series, but it would
Hmm.
be so different. It would be so
Yeah.
different. It would be because the story concludes basically.
Okay.
So, but like it's not. I'm not saying they like chop it short and then it's like, oh my god, what's going to happen? Like this story concludes, but they set it up so it's kind of like they could potentially carry on with something else, that's also not a spoiler. It's just the way.
No. And I think when you write a main character into a show that is a writer themselves or
Yeah,
they write screenplays, then you're like, well, they could always just write about something else
yeah,
as the next series and it could be totally different and removed. So they've left it open for that, I think.
yeah.
But
That's great.
yeah, and I forgot that yeah, he is a small character in that, isn't he? He's like the
Yeah,
partner, but
I was watching him and I was like, I recognize that guy, and then I was like, oh, it's Tom Baston. It's a guy that looked at
he is
IMDb.
great.
Yeah, he was good in it as well, but he's quite a small character. We watched I Swear last night. Have you seen that?
No, it's on my list to watch.
I
Well
100%
worth it.
recommend it. Yeah, definitely,
Didn't
definitely.
it win some awards?
Yeah, it won some BAFTAs, I think, and the guy playing the guy with Tourette's, he doesn't, he's excellent. It's just a very touching story, and also
Yeah,
absolutely brutal trying to grow up with Tourette's when people didn't understand it, like
yeah,
getting caned at school because of things you couldn't control just seems cruel. And and people like his own family basically not really understanding how to deal with it. But it's quite heartwarming towards the end. When the story kind of it comes full circle. It's great. So if you haven't seen it, I won't give too much away, but it's definitely I recommend watching it. It's excellent.
no, it's there, and I wanna watch it, so that's good recommendations for
It's quite
me.
funny actually because we were talking about what people watch when their partner's not around. Because I was supposed to be recording a podcast last night.
What we're not supposed to talk about that on the podcast.
And so I came downstairs and Amy had already watched like 15 minutes of it. And I was like, "What? I want to watch this." And she was like, "Well, what am I supposed to watch when you're not here?" And I was like, "I am it."
You said, Joe epically failed on me, so I
Well,
am
to
here."
be fair, no, actually, thank you because I wouldn't have watched it otherwise.
Oh, it was meant to be,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
exactly.
Just for
Exactly.
everybody listening, I had this in and I was committed to it, but it was a month forward in my diary.
Yeah.
I had it on my kitchen calendar in the
It's
next month, in
it's
April.
fine. I'm not precious about the scheduling. So, if you were on a desert island, which dessert would you eat first?
Well, I'm allowed to eat more than one, or is it just
Yeah, you can eat
the
whatever you
one?
want. It's a desert island.
Well, this is good because I have a strong winner for a dessert, but there's also another thing that I feel is important as well that I love. So I've got an egg custard. That would be my dessert of choice. I know.
That's
It
that
might
is.
it's
Wasn't
might
ever
be
expect
weird
anyone
out
to say
there.
egg. No, I like egg custard.
An egg
Oh,
custard tart. And, that kind of spans into the pastel de nata side
mhm.
of things as well. I just love them. But yeah, so that would need to be there. And let's face it, it's a bit like an omelette. So I've got a bit of sweet and savoury in one.
When I think of egg custard, have you made them at home? You made them
No, look,
fresh? You just buy them?
I'm not a baker. I
Yeah,
only
but
cook. I'm
when I
not
think
baking.
of egg custard tarts, I've not had one for years. I ate them a lot. Amy's not really a fan of custard, but I bloody love custard.
I love
And
custard.
but if I do think of the ones I used to get from the supermarket when I was a child, the pastry was too dry. That's what
Uh,
I would say.
well, it's got to be the right mix of pastry that's kind of moist enough, but then your eggy, custardy mix
Mm.
has got to be kind of soft as well. It's got to not just like sponge off like a boing sponge kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's got to have the right mix. So we're not talking about the really cheap ones.
Mm.
It's got to be slightly elevated than that, but we don't have to go really fancy because it is what it is. It's an egg custard tart.
It is. And is that nutmeg on that?
It has got nutmeg. I would like to have the nutmeg on top, please. Yes, that makes it. That's the
Definitely
difference
has.
maker. That's the
So
difference maker.
you're eating an egg custard tart to
Yeah.
begin with. What, and you mentioned something else that's important. What is that?
Well, rumble crumbles are big in our house.
Rumble crumble. Well, now you're gonna have to
Rumble crumble.
explain. You're gonna have to explain the name.
Jack is called Jack Rumble, and my 2 daughters have Rumble as their surname because let's face it, my surname's Maycock and nobody wants to pass that on. And so Jack is also very good at making a crumble, and so we have Rumble crumbles a lot of the time. Although he did once pull one out of the bag that was a little bit below par, so that one's not making it
What,
onto the desert island.
what happened there?
Just turned into a kind of mush that looked a bit like tubby custard rather than a solid crumble on the top there and fantastic like raspberry and apple filling. We can do any fruit, but that's a good one. Or like a
Yeah.
blackberry crumble, that's good when we can pick the blackberries from like the hills around and stuff.
Yeah.
That sounds like a weird sentence, but it is possible here in London. There are
Well,
blackberries growing everywhere.
yeah, it's possible in Harrogate as well. You don't have to go very far to get a blackberry. So, quote of the day.
You don't have to go very far to get a blackberry.
You have to wait until
You
like
got to
August,
wait.
September, but yeah.
Yeah,
You don't have
exactly.
to go very far once that's rolled around. So with the kids, do they eat? They eat all of the rumble crumble? Are they just eating the topping? Because I know what my kids would do, and they
You
just eat the
know,
topping.
I would say that Lily now eats all of that rumble crumble. We've got to have custard with it as well.
Mm.
So rumble crumble and custard. So you
Yeah,
can't have crumble without custard, can you? Really? You
I
can have it
would
with
go.
yogurt.
No, you could, and I
But
have, but it's not as
it's
good.
it's
Not the same.
disappointing.
It
It's
is
just
disappointing.
no one's going to be
Yogurt's not
writing
sweet
home about
enough.
that.
Yogurt's not sweet enough. That's the
Exactly.
problem. Yeah, that's the
So
problem.
is she eating it because it's laced with pure, wonderful custard sugar? Perhaps. However, it's pretty good. I think Rowan maybe just eats the fruity bits and the custard and kind of leaves the topping, but I'm
Oh,
happy about
really?
that because I'll have that.
Wow. Yeah.
I think
Nice.
it's just a bit textured to. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, my kids would just eat the sugar.
Yeah, grain by grain.
Yeah. Oh, they would. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would have when I was a kid. When I was younger, my mum used to slice up apple for me, and I would dip it in sugar and eat it, which was just like
Fabulous.
insanely amount.
Did you actually eat the apple or did you just suck the sugar off the
No, I
top?
did eat the apple as well
Yeah.
in granulated sugar.
Well,
I remember it well.
similar story. It's not quite sugar, but this morning I was demanded to get a hot cross bun in
Uh,
front of my eldest daughter.
I thought you were
And
going to
then I
say
went,
Jack.
no, no. And then she goes, I'm finished. And I look over and the whole hot cross bun is there. And she goes, I only wanted the raisins.
Yeah. Oh, that
She
happens all the
just
time.
picked out all the
Yeah,
bloody
yeah.
raisins.
No, that happens all the time. Yeah.
S-
Just ask for some
was
raisins.
just,
Don't
I
have
know.
raisins in.
I got loads of those.
Yeah.
Loads of those.
That
It
is
was,
absolute classic. That happens all the time here. Like, or
it was rude.
What Pip used to do, she would ask for jam or honey on toast, and she'd just lick the honey off, or just lick
Yeah.
the jam off and just leave the toast.
They know what's the good stuff is. I mean, I don't blame them.
Yeah,
I'd be
that's
doing it too,
very true. So, if you had a time machine, where would you go? Where would you go?
This is a tough one, Alex Marshall.
I'm asking all the tough questions.
Yeah. Now, I've got a few questions to try and hone in on this.
Yeah.
Though. I can't just give you a straight answer.
Fine.
So, like, what are my like rules though?
Yeah.
So
There's only one
no,
rule.
there's only
There are no rules.
there are no rules. All
Mm.
right. Well, I'm just wondering if I would like revisit something in my own lifetime, or would I, and not to change it, like it's just this thing in me. I'm like, would I just want to go back and see that again, or like watch a funny moment that happened? Or, I mean, to be honest, I go right back to the beginning of that Tim Key gig and just watch it all over again
With an egg custard tart.
with an egg custard tart. And, maybe I'd have found out where he exited and then go and give him it. And then maybe we'd be friends. Anyway, I'm sure he likes an egg custard.
He looks like a man that would like an
I
egg custard
think
tart.
so.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think he would like an egg custard. But yeah, am I revisiting something in my life or am I going back to something that I really want to know more about or just experience?
You did a degree in medieval history.
I know. Well, that's where you would think that I would want to go. And, the past, I mean, right now is quite scary, but the past is quite scary. Like, do
Mhm.
I really want to transplant myself into, medieval England, and I always straight away think of England because that's what we study. Why do we do that? Where they're, beheading people and the plague is rife and, just women have a really raw deal, even more so than they do today. So I'm not 100% sure. However, I think I'd probably just go back and revisit something in my life that I found really funny.
Yeah.
But I don't know what that moment would be because there's lots of things that I just want to revisit. I don't know if I really just want to travel somewhere else that could be fraught. Well, other people have said they would want to go back to like, a music
Mhm.
period, find out something more about that. But there's not one thing that stands out. I kind of just want the opportunity to be able to dip in and dip out all the time.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Well, it's your time machine. You can do what you want.
It's my time machine. But
Yeah.
I
So what are you
mean, we
doing
do
today?
run.
I'm just gonna go check out just gonna go watch me do something embarrassing from 15 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't be watching me doing something embarrassing. I'd definitely be watching my friends doing something embarrassing.
Yeah.
In fact, I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and I won't name names, but
Cool.
they told me a story of how they maybe made a child cry and accidentally and wanted to know if I might have done the same thing. Now, I think I would have done the same thing. However, I'd quite like to go back to that moment in time and have a little look-see and then give them some more feedback.
Oh, okay. Let me just go have a little look. They're like, "No, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't
Yeah,
have made the
so
child cry."
I think I probably would have done the same thing that they did. This sounds awful, no context, and the person, if they are listening, will maybe probably be very upset with me. Anyway,
We'll
but
see.
stuff like that.
See,
But you're right.
this is the
Go
thing
on.
with the question is it is very unique and everyone's going to come at it with a different kind of angle. So, I like the way that you've thought about it and like actually am I bothered about seeing medieval history? No. Do I want to just see something that's happened in my life again? Yeah. Could go back to the first Glastonbury. That was good fun. The first one that
Well,
I went to.
exactly. The first one that I went to and I
Yeah.
wasn't working at. Yeah, like
Exactly. Yeah.
those kind of things.
Yeah.
But I think the other thing of this was I do always think of going back to England as well, like somewhere that I have been, but like going to that exhibition of like Japan and looking at this like feudal state that was still sustaining in like the 1830s, and then they're like on the cusp of industry coming in and this massive change where samurais weren't going to mean anything in like 60 years' time. Like to see that shift
Mm,
somewhere in Japan that's totally different, like,
yeah.
that is really interesting.
That
And
is.
maybe because I don't know as much about it, I can't quite feel the fear as much as I do of thinking about hopping back to medieval England where I'm like, it was just rapes
Yeah.
and pillaging and nightmare, which it was all happening in
Yeah.
Japan too, but
Mhm.
they were quite isolated at that time. So, yeah, maybe I'm gonna hop back there and find out a bit more about, block printing.
Sounds good. Have you got anything else that you want to share today? Any other business?
Any other business? Any other business? No, I don't think I've got any other business. I'm just trying to think. No, no other business really.
Oh, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, Alex Marshall. Thank you for having me the night after I was supposed to be here.
That's okay. Thanks everybody for listening to the show. Please tell your friends, like and subscribe, follow, all that stuff.
Like and
Um,
subscribe.
yeah, well, yeah, that's not just follow the show. But yeah, thank you for coming on. Here comes my new catchphrase. Catchphrase. Here
That should
comes
be
my new
it.
comes my new
French fries.
catchphrase. Don't know what kind of accent that is. Here comes my new catchphrase. It's nice to chat.